You know, the release of the golf club is one of those, it is such a confusing issue for so many players. And generally when people are talking about release, what we're talking about is we're talking about the release of the toe of the club past the heel of the club, okay? It's a really powerful move when you whip that toe of the club past the heel of the club. But when it comes to effortless power, there really are 4 releases for effortless power. So one of them is the release of the lag, okay? So this is when you hold this angle and you release it. Usually most players are releasing it way too early back here, and we want to feel like we release it more out in front. That creates kind of that speed out front. So that is one of the releases. Another release here is the one that I just talked about, which is the toe past the heel release, right? The third release here is the release of the hips, okay? Man, there is nobody that if they follow this system, they're not going to make progress with that over the top swing. This is going to help everybody no matter how long you've been struggling with swinging over the top and no matter how bad or severe it is. So go to facefirstgolf.com, get started with the first 5 free lessons, hit the link below, and I'll see you there. So when you hold a little bit more of that lag, then you have, if you're not going to flip at it through impact here, something's got to get the club head moving through the impact area, right? So it's going to be that release of your hips. So that is another big effortless power release. And then the last release is the release of tension, okay? And that's the one that really brings it all together, because then you can start to, so you've got the release of the lag, you've got the release of the hips, now you've got the release of the toe, and then if you've got, you're never really gonna have the release of the toe if you don't have release of the tension, because we really want this to be a whipping kind of motion through impact here. So I wanna show you this little progression that you can use to kill 4 birds with 1 stone. That's how I'm gonna present this here. We're killing 4 birds with 1 stone. So this is the 5-foot length of PVC, 3/4 inch PVC cut to 5 feet long. This is a nice, just a great way to reinforce this. So we grip it about 14, 16 inches down. All we're doing is full hinge right here, and then we're trying to not hit ourselves with it over here, right? So this is going to train the 2 of the releases, right? The lag and the hip rotation release. Lag and hip rotation. This is training those 2 right there, right? But the problem with it, and then you can go with a little bit more speed and it really starts to get those hips turning. The problem with it is that you're not releasing the toe of the club when you do that. So if I were to, let me just make that motion with the golf club in my hand. So now if I were to make the same motion I made with the PVC in my hands, now look what happens. Look at, I mean, that's, you know, I'm hitting it 45 degrees to the right or something. So that's where the other releases have to come in, which is the release of the toe past the club and the release of the tension to create the speed kind of out front here. So this is just, now we're starting to try to feel those same things you felt with the PVC, the turn and some of that delaying of the release of the hinge, but now start to focus on the toe passing the heel. Toe passing the heel now, and with that lack of tension. So that is now all the elements for effortless power are there. I'm starting to lag it more. I'm starting to turn more. I'm starting to get the toe of the club to release past the heel of the club, and I'm just really letting go of that tension in the golf swing. So that's how you build those 4 releases for effortless power.